Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a tip that I think is super important for a beginning fly tyer. I think this tip is great for a beginner fly tyer, but I also think this is a perfect tip, something I've been doing for years for a production fly tyer like myself. So the other day, my daughter has been tying. She's 12 years old and she's starting to get really good and starting to be able to learn recipes, not just play around. So I saw a deal on the internet. Let me see the packaging. And it is the Ventures Fly Company. I don't know these guys, have no idea anything about their business whatsoever. I know I ordered this and 2 days later it was at my house, so I'm happy with that. But what it is a box and another box of flies. There's 122 flies in this kit, 2 of each, so there's a duplicate. And each box has a divider in it, and it's got a card that coincides and shows you the different patterns that are in the box. I did this not because I'm going to fish with these. I can tell you 3 times in my life I have fished with somebody else's flies, and these will never be fished. It's just a reference of exemplars, so when my daughter is tying, she can actually pick up a fly and compare hers to it. It doesn't have any guesswork like if you're looking at something on the internet. You can look at the fly and compare it to another one, and if it doesn't look right, it's blatantly obvious at that current moment. This gives her perfect examples of what she should be tying with. So if you're tying, you don't have to buy this kit. I like it. The quality's good. I'll vouch for them. But if you go to Bass Pro, to Cabela's, your local fly shop, or wherever you're at, if there's a fly that you want to tie and you can get your hands on one, buy it so that you can bring that home and you can replicate it and not just guess on the body tapers and stuff like that. So now for the guys who've been tying for like years and years like me, I've got almost 40 years of fly tying experience. I have tied a lot of flies, and as I was younger, I'd whip up some crap and I'd go out and fish with it, and I'd be slaying it, and I'd run out of flies and I'd forget what they were or how I tied or whatever. So several years ago, I started kind of doing the same thing, and I got little boxes like this that I keep, and they're streamlined boxes are really thin, and I have several of them. And every time I tie a fly that is a little bit different of a pattern, I put one of my flies that I tied in that box. And then I make a material card for that box. So I have each compartment in there is numbered. And I have a card that coincides, and it's got the materials, the tail, body, head, hook, all the different materials, the exact color, the exact brand, the exact every detail that I put in that fly. If I modify that fly and make a separate, version of it, I make a separate compartment and I put the modifications on that thing. So I can consistently match that fly over and over and over. I have a hands-on one that I can pick up and look at. I have a material recipe where I can get the exact materials to match that fly. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, however long it's going to be, you can always match that fly 100%. And that's important because if you get somebody and you're tying for them and you're tying up some flies and they show up to get your flies and the next batch is a little bit different, there's some guys who are pretty particular and they won't be happy about that. This prevents that. This builds a consistent database that you can have your hands on over and over and over, and you can always replicate what you're tying. Saving the details of the information and having one extra fly that you can have your hands on all the time that is just an exemplar. It's a perfect tool, guys. I'm telling you, you need to be doing this if you don't. If you're a beginning fly tyer, get flies from somebody else. And once you get to the point where you're tying your own patterns, keep one of yours and keep it on file with a material list, and you will always be able to go back to that fly and retie it. So I hope this tip helps, guys. It's helped me drastically on replicating things in the future, and it's helping my daughter being able to pick up and compare, 2 for 2. It's not looking at the internet like it's close. She can pick it up and she can see the discrepancies in hers versus theirs. Now, if you screw up a fly and it's not 100% perfect, that doesn't mean it's not fishable. But if you're trying to get to the point of perfection, you need to really, really work on getting consistent with all of your patterns. So I hope this tip helps, and we will see you in the next video.